Liverpool just lost to Paris Saint-Germain 4-0 on aggregate in the Champions League quarter-finals, and now 8 members of the squad are heading for the exit door this summer. The reigning Premier League champions are about to undergo a squad overhaul, the likes of which Anfield has not seen in over a decade. So, let's break down every player that's leaving and what this means for the club going forward. On the 14th of April 2026, Anfield fell silent. For the second season in succession, Liverpool went toe-to-toe with Paris Saint-Germain at Anfield and had nothing to show for their endeavours. Having exited the FA Cup quarter-final with a whimper, Liverpool exited the Champions League quarter-final with a fight. The damage done in Paris proved irretrievable. Ousmane Dembélé, so wasteful in the first leg at Parc des Princes, inflicted further punishment with a second goal from Bradley Barcola's second assist. In stoppage time, Liverpool lost 0-2 on the night and 0-4 on aggregate, and their season was effectively over. No Champions League, no FA Cup, a dismal Premier League title defense, nothing. The first leg had already set the tone. Liverpool lost 2-0 to Paris Saint-Germain in the first leg of their Champions League quarter-final. The game at Parc des Princes was settled in the holders' favor by goals in either half by Désiré Doué and Kavicha Kvaratskhelia. Liverpool failed to register a single shot on target. The second leg at Anfield tasked the expensively assembled but rarely seen forward line of Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike, and Florian Wirtz with delivering a goal threat that was non-existent in Paris. The trio had played together for a combined total of 88 minutes following their arrivals for a potential £320 million last summer. Then came the injuries and the chaos. Liverpool were badly disrupted when Ekitike was taken off on a stretcher on the half-hour after his ankle appeared to give way. Mohamed Salah came on as his replacement to a roaring reception, but it was too late. Arne Slot revealed that Alexander Isak would only be fit for 45 minutes despite starting the match, effectively broadcasting his tactical plan to the world. Arne Slot had told reporters privately that he'd been prioritizing the Champions League since January. 3 months of focus, and it ended like this. A 4-0 aggregate destruction at the hands of the European champions. Now, almost immediately after that final whistle, reports have been pouring in about the sheer volume of players heading out the door. This isn't speculation about one or two. It is 8 players. The biggest of those departures had already been confirmed weeks before the PSG tie, and that brings us to the name that towers above all others. Mohamed Salah's departure from Liverpool is the headline that defines this summer. Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah has announced his exit from the Premier League club at the end of the season. The 33-year-old Egyptian star confirmed the news in a video message on social media, calling it the first part of his farewell. The details behind the scenes tell a turbulent story. While he hasn't spelled out a reason for his departure, Salah said earlier in the season that his relationship with Liverpool manager Arne Slot was non-existent. It got worse. The fan favourite accused the club of making him a scapegoat for the English champions' poor start to the Premier League season and claimed he was thrown under the bus after Liverpool's 3-3 draw at Leeds in December. Salah's own words at Elland Road were devastating. "I don't know why, but it seems to me that someone doesn't want me in the club." Think about that. A player who has given 9 years of his prime to the club, who has broken record after record, openly saying he feels unwanted. And what a legacy he leaves behind. Over his 9 years at Liverpool, which he joined in June 2017 from AS Roma, he has scored 255 goals in 435 appearances to become the third highest goalscorer for the Reds. The forward's 281 goal contributions, 189 goals and 92 assists, are the most for any player at one club in the league's history. Salah won the Premier League Golden Boot, a record equaling 4 times, and he collected 3 PFA Player of the Year awards along the way. His trophy cabinet speaks volumes. 2 Premier League titles, a Champions League, an FA Cup, 2 League Cups, the FIFA Club World Cup, the UEFA Super Cup, and a Community Shield. However, the 33-year-old has struggled to match last season's exploits, having been directly involved in just 11 league goals, scoring 5 times. That dip in form, combined with the fractured relationship with Slot, made the break inevitable. Salah will depart on a free transfer despite having 12 months remaining on his contract. Liverpool confirmed the departure on their official website, saying the time to fully celebrate his legacy would come later in the year when he bids farewell to Anfield. During the PSG second leg, Salah came off the bench after Ekitike's injury. His painful departure prompted the arrival of Salah to a rapturous reception. The fans still adored him. They always will. But the cold reality is that he watched the most important European night of the season from the bench, benched for the second successive game against PSG. That tells you everything about where things stood between him and his manager. Another possible destination for Salah could be Major League Soccer in the United States. Reports in British media said a move to the MLS is currently seen as the most attractive choice. Wherever he goes, Liverpool will feel his absence like an open wound for seasons to come. Just days after Salah confirmed his departure, another pillar of the dressing room followed suit. Liverpool have officially confirmed that Andy Robertson will leave the club at the end of the 2025-26 season. Robertson will depart the club at the end of the season, joining Mohamed Salah in confirming his decision before the campaign is over. It comes less than a year after he was named vice-captain, having lost his place as first-choice left-back to Milos Kerkez. That detail stings. Promoted to vice-captain and then rendered surplus to requirements in the space of a single season. The Scotland captain's twilight year at Anfield was one spent largely watching from the sidelines as a younger model took his place. Robertson's time at Liverpool reads like the kind of fairy-tale football rarely delivers. Robertson joined Liverpool from Hull in a deal worth an initial £8 million. £8 million for a player who went on to win every major honour in the game at club level. The 32-year-old moves on having won 2 Premier League titles, the Champions League, the FA Cup, 2 Carabao Cups, the Club World Cup, the UEFA Super Cup, and the Community Shield. He is also the second highest assisting defender of all time in the Premier League, having set up 60 goals during his decade in the English top flight. He has played 373 times for the Reds since his arrival in 2017, scoring 13 goals and assisting 69 in all competitions. That overlapping run down the left flank, the whipped crosses finding the head of whoever was at the far post, it defined an era of Liverpool football. In his farewell message, Robertson struck a characteristically gracious tone. "It's never easy leaving a club like Liverpool. It has been a huge part of mine and my family's life for the last 9 years." He acknowledged the changing landscape. "I've had opportunities to leave, and I've not taken them because of how difficult it is to leave this club." But he also understood the reality. "I know football moves on. I know teams move on, and I think now is the time for me to move on." Where does he go next? Spurs have held a long-standing interest in Robertson and were keen to sign the 32-year-old during the January transfer window, but Liverpool were not willing to sanction a mid-season departure. According to BBC Sport, Spurs are now fully committed to completing the deal with negotiations already at an advanced stage. The North London club are looking to inject experience and leadership into their squad. However, any potential move will largely hinge on whether Spurs can retain their Premier League status. They currently sit 18th in the table, 2 points adrift of safety. The prospect of Andy Robertson, a Champions League winner, playing in the Championship is wild to think about, but that is the state of football in 2026. If losing Salah and Robertson wasn't painful enough, Liverpool's defensive structure is at serious risk of collapse this summer. Start with Ibrahima Konate. Centre-back Konate has entered the final few months of his own deal with the Merseysiders, and his availability is attracting interest from clubs across the continent. The Frenchman has established himself as one of the best defenders in the English top flight since displacing Joel Matip as first choice to partner Virgil van Dijk. The saga around his contract renewal has become a daily drama. The Athletic's David Ornstein doesn't believe talks are going well, with the journalist telling NBC Sports that the latest on talks is that they've hit an impasse. Ornstein said, "Ibrahima Konate will be out of contract this summer, and my latest information is his situation is at an impasse." There are conflicting signals. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano recently claimed that negotiations between Liverpool and the France international were moving to the final stages. Romano said the guaranteed salary was almost agreed, but specific clauses were holding things up. Meanwhile, Man City and Chelsea both opened exploratory talks with the players' camp. The possibility of losing Konate on a free transfer, a player in his prime at 26, would be a disaster of the highest order for Liverpool's backline. Then there is Joe Gomez. The 28-year-old situation went from uncertain to combustible during the PSG tie itself. Slot's baffling decisions did not end there. Hooking Joe Gomez after just 22 minutes on the pitch, despite no visible injury, risked more than just tactical confusion. The defender's furious reaction told its own story. At a time when Liverpool needed calm and composure, the manager chose to humiliate one of his defenders in front of 60,000 people. Tentative reports suggest that Joe Gomez would fetch about £25 million should he leave Anfield this summer. Several Premier League sides, including Aston Villa and Bournemouth, have been speculatively linked with a bid for the 28-year-old who has failed to convince Slot that he is worth a place in the starting side, a source told Caught Offside. Liverpool are keen to reshape their backline with younger, specialist profiles. Gomez is no longer seen as indispensable, but rather as a valuable market asset with his contract expiring in 2027. The summer of 2026 is viewed as the last major opportunity for the club to secure a significant transfer fee. That is 2 centre-backs and a left-back all potentially gone in one window. And Virgil van Dijk, the one defensive constant, turns 35 this summer. Key players like Alisson and Virgil van Dijk are another year older as the squad appears to be requiring a refresh. The defensive regeneration that Liverpool need is not a side project. It is an emergency. Beyond the confirmed exits and defensive departures, Liverpool are reportedly preparing to make several more players available for sale in what amounts to a full-scale squad overhaul. Most surprising name in the rumored departures is Alexis Mac Allister. The Argentine midfielder has been ever present in Arne Slot's 11. He has over 3,200 minutes in his 46 appearances with 10 goal contributions. Mac Allister has been one of their most important assets, but they are still ready to listen to offers for him. Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain have reportedly been keeping tabs on the World Cup winner. If Mac Allister goes, it would signal that the rebuild goes far deeper than clearing out deadwood. It would mean tearing up the foundations and starting fresh. Liverpool, the reigning English champions, are staring at one of the most consequential summers in their modern history. And the question every fan will be asking as they file out of Anfield is a simple one. After spending £446 million, after losing in every cup competition, after watching their greatest ever goalscorer walk away feeling unwanted, how did it come to this?